So the match finishes Forest 1, Crystal Palace 1 with a red card to Nico Williams. Welcome to the player ratings. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to the player ratings where it finished on as even. Palace still can't get a win against Forest. And Forest should have won that game. Palace were horrific. Absolutely horrific, especially when they were a man up. But make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you subscribed. Make sure to check out the sponsors. OK Jerseys. You can get all your football shirts for £15. Use code FFTV15. Special edition discount for a further 15% off. And big up to Jimmy with the 36 months. OK Jerseys on the QR code or in the link. Look, there's a lot to unpack. Forest should. There's like 3 phases that need to be discussed. Forest took the lead very well for the first 15 minutes. I thought we were excellent. There was some quick play going on. Very good quick play. And then after that, we just went deeper and deeper and deeper and let Palace kind of start to get control of the game. It was a good goal by Gibbs White. He battled well in the box, finished near post. Great finish. 1-0 to Forest. Him and Jesus were linking up very well in the early parts of the game. And then I just don't know. We never felt like we were going for that killer instinct for the second goal. And then it happens. Basically halftime, Forest do go back to the whole 45 plus and a corner is given away. Now, you can blame, I actually think Murillo needs to hold some smoke for that corner because he overplayed the ball out, lost it, and then Jono was able to win a corner off Milenkovic. Lerma gets a completely free header in the box, and then Nico Williams has a bozo moment, the first one for a long time, and he ends up handling the ball on the line. Just let it. I just think, let it, if you can't get it with your head, let it go in. 11 men. Palace had nothing to offer. They're going to tire in the second half. Look at their bench. Their bench was horrific. They had no options on the bench. It just makes more sense that he lets it go in. And then they convert the penalty. Now, where I do hold Dyche accountable is on the substitute. I don't know why he brought Morato on instead of pushing Einar to left back and then bringing Zach Abbott, for example, on at right back. And that leaves the pairing of Murillo and Milenkovic at centre back. It's a silly panic substitution. And he takes off Dominguez when it should have been Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi was by miles the worst player for us in that first half. I don't know why Dominguez was taken off. That for me is Dyche's mistake. I don't blame the draw on Dyche. I hate to say it, but I blame it on Nico Williams. Now, it's hard to say because Nico Williams has been so good, but objectively speaking, that's the truth of it. But the substitution was silly. And then at halftime, he makes all kinds of changes. Yates comes on. I'm assuming Sells picked up an injury because Angus Gunn came off as well. And that made that substitution a waste because Dominguez could have played where Yates was playing. That's the thing. It's clear. Yeah, big up Rich in the chat. You are crap, bro. Like, there was no intensity from Palace in the second half. So in the second half, Forest get into their shape, obviously as a low block. And Palace are just passing it around the back. It almost, I didn't feel too nervous because I almost felt like Palace were happy to take a point and keep the gap between them and us 3 points. But I said to you before the game, there was too much overconfidence going into this game. Yes, Forest should and could have won this game. But Forest, we will always do something so stupid that will cost us a game. And we saw it. This was such a huge opportunity. When we were 1-0 up, we were level with Palace, level with Spurs, 8 points net, 9 clear of West Ham. Looking at that midfield, thinking there's a few other teams we can overtake in the next couple of weeks. And then Nico Williams does what he does. I also didn't like the substitution of Ndoye on for Igor Jesus. I actually thought Gibbs White and Igor Jesus were linking up quite well. I didn't understand that one, if I'm honest with you. And then if we are playing that deep, you may as well have brought Luca on and chucked some long balls up. Our best opportunity in the second half was going to be a dead ball situation. Now, we've been poor at delivering dead balls, but why not just chase 6'7", man, chuck him up there and maybe hit him with one of those balls and see if we get a goal. There was a chance for Ndoye where Henderson dropped it, but nothing really came of that either. Overall, it's a frustrating game. It's a frustrating game. And it's a game that we could have, should have won. If we had put the pressure on Palace after scoring the first goal and got a second goal, Palace wouldn't have bothered themselves to get back into it. But Palace, I gotta say, I've been talking to Rich a lot this week. I just thought they could be in trouble. They really could be in trouble. They were horrific. And they'll go away very happy with a point there. Maybe slightly disappointed because it was against 10 men. But let's get into the player ratings. Already over 700 of you in here. Let's get those likes up, chat. Let's get those likes up and get into the player ratings. We were playing for a 1-0 after 10 minutes. Lost all sense of purpose and sharpness, says Matt. I agree with that. We'll do both keepers together. I don't actually think keepers had too much to do. I don't remember any worldy saves from any of the keepers. I don't know what's wrong with Cells. I can hear you, Desi. I can hear you. I don't know what's wrong with him. I guess we'll find out post-match. I don't think he had much to do, even though... Oh, what's going on with this shit? Hold on. There we go. Sal's had a save early on and then another one about halfway through. I just can't remember it, if I'm honest with you. I think it is ringing a vague bell in my mind. It's not negativity, bro. It's frustration. It's frustration that this was the game that Forest should have, could have, and can win, especially going 1-0 up. Anyway, I'll give Cells a 7. I don't know. It's hard to judge with what happened there. You guys have given him a 6. What I do want to say though, we'll do the keepers together. I thought Gunn looked absolutely fine. I didn't see anything that with keepers, for me, it's about a feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you feel comfortable with the keeper in goal, and it's usually easy for a keeper, just catch your shots, catch crosses, and make sure your distribution isn't too bad, right? That's all they need to do. And I thought Angus Gunn was fine in the second. At no stage did I think, oh crap, the ball's coming into the box. It's going to be Angus Gunn. No, I thought he was actually fine. So I'll give him a 7 as well. There was no real massive chances for Palace. Palace didn't create anything in the second half at all for me. So I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Let's see what you guys gave him. 6.9. So frustrating. Let's move on to Einar. Einar in the second half was outstanding. He was absolutely outstanding. I think he grew into the game. I think some of his runs were really good. His passes were really good. Defensively, I thought he was rock solid in that second half. And he was almost like our outlet in that second half. I've got him as an early candidate for man of the match. I really do. He was very, very good. But I got no complaints about Einar in that game. Maybe he was a little bit not as on it in the first half as he was in the second half. But he was a threat. It felt like a threat every time. Every time he got the ball, we moved the ball higher up the pitch. Even when he was late on, there was a ball in behind him and he showed a turn of pace and was able to close the space down and get there. So I think overall, Einar's an 8 for me. I was actually quite impressed. Definitely in the second half as well. You guys have gone a 7.6. Einar was abysmal in the first half. I think that's harsh, man. That's harsh. But anyway, that's the whole point of this. Everyone gets to have their say. Milenkovic, I thought Milenkovic was rock solid again. Again, rock solid. It was just backs to the wall. It wasn't really backs to the wall. It's a tough one to explain if you didn't watch the game. It was like Palace just had the possession, but no cutting edge or no threat whatsoever. But Milenkovic was there to clean up anything. And I just feel like he's the Serbinator again. I'll give him an 8. I thought he was very good today. I'll give him an 8. See what you guys did. You guys went 7.4 on him. Fair enough. Decent score. I can't really argue with it. What I can argue is the likes. Please do get those likes up. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. Look, defensively and offensively, Murillo was really good today. Okay, let's move on to Murillo. I just don't like what he did in the build-up to their first goal. I think I have to mark him down a point on that. Murillo made, but his passes was so on point. That pass he played through to Igor Jesus in behind Richards was fantastic. But you almost have to expect it with Murillo that he's gonna, like, he can't dribble past every player every single time, right? But it just felt like he was starting to think he was Zidane at some certain points. He's an 8 for me, but I'm gonna mark him down 1 because of how he lost the ball in the build-up to their corner. So I'm gonna give him a 7. I don't know if that's harsh. I don't know. I mean, a lot happened after he lost the ball for them to then get the corner and Lerma to head it and Nico Williams to do his thing. I get it, but I'm just frustrated with that game today. I really am. You guys tend to seem to agree with me. You got a 7.2 there. 1-0 up, should have gone for more. They were there for the taking. Yeah. Stephen, you're right, man. You're right. That's why I say you got to break the game into 3 phases. 1-0, fantastic. The bit between 1-0 and their goal, not good enough. The second half, good shape, solid. You know what I'm saying? That's like the 3 categories of that game for me. Nico Williams. His whole performance is going to be overshadowed by the handball, isn't it? It's going to overshadow everything. And it's very harsh on his season. In fact, his last 18 months where he's been standout, game in, game out. If that was like an Ndoye that handled it on the line, I'd have been kicking off. Okay, I can't deny it. Am I showing some biasy with Nico Williams because of everything else he's done? I don't think it's fair to do that if I wouldn't do that until there. However, if we take into account what he was doing pre the handball, he was playing fine and normal Nico Williams. So pre-mistake is like a 7. That mistake is huge, chat. It's huge. Like, the smarter thing in a way is to let it go in. I'm going to have to take 4 off him. And he's a 3 for me. I wouldn't let certain other players get away with it. I don't think I can allow him to get out of the way of it. It's really, it hurts. It hurts to see him do that. Is that harsh? I don't know. I've given you guys my logic. It's up to you guys if you agree with it or not. Let's see what you've scored him. All right. You must agree with my logic. You've exactly gone for the same one. You sure it's a 3-game ban or 1? It might be a 1-game ban. I don't know. I'll see what the rules are. Very harsh. If we get relegated, it's on Nico. You can't say that. Because how many points has he gained us throughout the season? So again, 7 for his pre-handball performance, -4 for the handball. It brings it for me to a 3. By the way, get your votes. It's a 1-game ban, is it, Brucey? But it's a big game. He's gonna make his leads away. His leads away. Calling out Nico and can't even spell his name. Who? Oh, the one who said relegated. Anyway, into the midfield. Who did we start with? Sangare was really good for me again today. Let's start with Sangare. I just think we're a different outfit. No, Nick saying 3-game ban for straight red. That's if it's like violent conduct and stuff. Sangare, especially in the first half, was phenomenal. In the second half, defensively, he was rock solid. It was absolutely rock solid. I got no problems with his performance today. Again, very, very good. I'm going to give him an 8. There's a huge difference since he's come back from AFCON. There's a huge difference since he's come back from AFCON. Look, could we have held out to a 1-0 win with those tactics? Yes. Am I happy with those tactics? No. Very annoying. See what you guys did. 7.5. Oh, so you lot are liking Sangare now. Okay, I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. All right, a lot of you saying it's a 1-game ban. McGuardy and Cheese with the 20 months. Big up to you. Big up to the 800 in here. Please make sure you've hit the like button and make sure you've subscribed. Trusty Google says it's a 1-game ban. All right. Sangare was good. And let's move on to Anderson. Big up to TC with the 32 months. Much love to you. Thank you so much. Look, I thought Anderson was very good. There was just a little bit of overplaying of the ball for me with Anderson. Like, most of the times he overplayed it, he actually got himself out of those situations. And I thought defensively he was very good. I'm still not happy with his corners, if I'm being honest with you. I don't like the outswinger on the corners. And there's a couple that just about hit the first man or cleared the first man. But he was like in the right place at the right time in that second half. Every single scenario, I was going to call it every single Palace attacking scenario, but let's be real, they didn't attack much. It's the slight tweaks in this game. He's getting a little bit overconfident on the ball. His passing was pretty good today, if I'm being honest. That's the first time there's been a red card for deliberate handball in 5 years in the Premier League, by the way. Just a FYI for you guys, fun fact. So look, I'll give him blah, 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 blah. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 today. 8 out of 10. I don't think he's the right corner taker, chat. I don't think he's the right corner taker. Dash's slubs was slightly bizarre, but we held on. Luca might get a game of March. Usual Dash behavior. We'll talk about Dash in a second. 7.4 for you guys from Anderson. Am I overglazing him a bit? Maybe. Okay, Dominguez. I thought Dominguez was doing fine. I was really annoyed with this substitution. It just made no logical sense to me. It made absolutely no logical sense to me whatsoever. I'll give him a 7. I don't understand why he wasn't left on. Hudson-Odoi taken off, and you play a 4-3-1-1. It was that simple. It was that simple. That's why you're not the manager. If I was the manager, we come away with 3 points, bro. Because with 11 men, we would be 2-0 up. Anyway, I'm giving him a 7 out of 10. You guys have gone a 6.2. I think that's harsh, chat. I mean, he wasn't stinker and hooked. He was just hooked. He was just hooked. The sub felt rushed for sure. It was a panic sub. It was 100% a panic sub. But anyway, let's talk about Hudson-Odoi. He was the worst player on the pitch. He was worse than all the subs that came on. He just plays. For me, with Hudson-Odoi, he comes across very lazy and lethargic. Moves the ball slow. His passes were off. Doesn't really connect with the fullbacks that are overlapping or anything like that. I don't really see how he starts ahead of Hutchinson, for example. I don't get it. I don't know why McAtee couldn't have started ahead of Hudson-Odoi. If you're McAtee and you're thinking to yourself, right, I finally put in a good shift against Ferencváros midweek, and Hudson-Odoi is just going to walk back into the team, I don't get it. Also, why didn't McAtee come on at some point? For me, with Hudson-Odoi, you get camera shots. You know what I'm saying? The finesse shot, which we haven't seen for ages. The mishit cross against Spurs that goes in. The good performance against Wrexham. I just feel he misses Elanga too much. I'm gonna say it. I think he misses that little trio of him, Elanga, and Einar, man. I thought he was abysmal today. I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. You guys have gone a 4.4. McAtee would have been a bright sub for Hudson-Odoi at halftime. McAtee should have started ahead of him today for me. McAtee, not a great fit for this game. He's a luxury player. I disagree. He's not a luxury player. He played in Sheffield, man. He's not. Can't be luxury there. Gibbs White, I thought, had a pretty decent game. Very good finish, very good link-up play with Igor Jesus, and very, very good work rates in the second half. He looked shattered with about 10 minutes to go and still soldiered on. Still, a couple of passes not great for me. That one to Sangare in the second half, that was an easy pass to make. Should have made that pass. Outside of that, I think he set up Igor Jesus for an easy tap in, and Igor Jesus was a bit asleep in the first half. I think he definitely has earned like an 8 out of 10 for me today. And his goal was taken well. It was taken well. Shock, you're praising Gibbs White. I don't know why that comes across as a shock. If I think someone's played well, I'll say they played well. If they played crap, I say they played crap. It's just my opinion. Anyway, I'll give him an 8 out of 10. You guys have gone a little bit higher with an 8.1 out of 10. Can we play a 4-3-3, Gibbs White, Anderson, Sangare as a midfield? You can, but I'd rather put Gibbs White on the right wing if you were going to force Gibbs White to be in, because I think his crosses from the right-hand side are probably his best attribute. But anyway, good score for Gibbs White today. And then Jesus up front. There was some nice, I said it earlier, there was some nice link-up play between him and Gibbs White throughout that first half. I just think he should be scoring that chance that Gibbs White put on a plate for him. I really do. He had a snapshot early in the second half. It wasn't a bad one. Shall I say something about him? I think he goes down a bit too easily. Now, do I think some of the times when he goes down that they are fouls? Yes. But he's kind of got that Yates trait in him where he's over going down. And he's strong enough to stay on his feet. I actually think he would do better off staying on his feet because he's out muscling most of the defenders in the Premier League. And he just needs to stay on his feet a bit more and then get fouled properly. Or get a pass or a layoff out or a shot off or whatever it is. I've just... The way he holds off centre-backs, especially for a player who's coming across into the Premier League, where everyone keeps telling me is the most physical, most pacey league and all that, right? he's so clearly got the physique for it that I'm surprised he has to go down as much as he does. I'm going to give him a 6 today. A 6 today. He was outstanding against Ferencváros, but today he should have scored that chance Gibbs White put on him. He just needed to be half a yard awake. That was all. You guys have gone at 6.64 for him. Okay, with the substitutions, Morato came on, didn't he? I don't really want to judge Morato because I don't know how to judge Morato. Okay, I just call it a gender if you want. I don't really care, but I don't trust him. And because I don't trust him, I always feel like I'm going to be harsh on him. Did he make any mistakes in that second half? No. I just don't think it was the right substitution. My butthole puckers up every time it comes near him. I can't lie. I don't think he did anything wrong today, but I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. Was there any mistakes? I can't think of any. He nearly blundered another high bouncing ball. I don't know. I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7. You guys are giving him a 5.9. I'm giving him a 7 because I know I'm apprehensive about him, but I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think he did anything wrong. He didn't nearly blunder a high ball, but it was a really awkward one. I don't, honestly, I can't remember it. I can't remember it. But anyway, that was Morato. Then Yates was on as well at halftime. We've already done Angus Gunn, haven't we? So we don't need to redo him. Yates was okay. I thought he was all right defensively, but there's just one or two silly moments for him where he tried to control the ball and toe pokes it out for a corner, where he backed up into the Crystal Palace fullback and just forgot he was playing football and just left the ball for the Palace player, the other Palace player, just to pick up. I actually thought going forward he was pretty good going forward. There's some nice passes from him. It's a little phase now of seeing Yates play where he is passing the balls forward. And you know what? This is what I've said for 2 years on Yates. I actually think there's a good player in him, and he tries to do the whole Robbie Savage role because, I'll be honest, a lot in the fan base hype it up. But I think if he just played football, he's a lot better than he shows. And I'd say over the last couple of games, he's actually shown that. I didn't think he was bad today. I didn't think he was bad at all today. In fact, I thought he was good. So I'll give him a 7 today. I thought he was fine. Still just a couple of silly moments. All sides. You know what I liked? Us shooting toward the Trent End first half. Imagine if Palace was shooting towards their own fan second. Oh, they flipped it round, didn't they? Yeah. But imagine we were shooting towards the Trent End in the second half. You never know. You guys gave Yates a 6.25. And then the final sub was Dan and Doy. I still think he's crap, man. I can't lie. I still think he's crap. I don't like the substitution of him coming on for Jesus. He had a half chance where Henderson dropped it. It looked like it was going to drop into Gibbs White's path, but it didn't. Outside of that, he had a snapshot near to the near post. There was a shockingly bad shot. He's good outside of the final third. But he's just one I've got in the Morato category where I just don't trust him. I'll give him a 6 out of 10, but I wouldn't have made that substitution personally. You guys have gone 5.3. Okay, I think that's all the subs. So let's talk about Dyche. I didn't like the starting setup. Why does he always drop down? Whatever. I didn't like the starting team, if I'm honest with you. I kind of think it needed to be a 4-3-3. So that's one mark I didn't like. But we got off to a good start. We went 1-0 up, which is fantastic. And then we went too deep. We went too deep. We should have tried to go 2-0 up and kill the game off instead of trying to win a 1-0 game after. When did we score, chat? Was it the 5th minute, the 7th minute, something like that? Now, we didn't drop 2 points necessarily from Dyche. Dyche got us into, or his tactics and selection got us into a 1-0 winning position. There's no beating around the bush. Nico Williams has cost us 2 points today. However, I didn't like his substitutions. His substitutions were goddamn awful today. Morato, not the right move. Even though he played okay, I would have liked to have seen Zach Abbott on and Einar switch to the left-hand side. I didn't like the Ndoye substitution, and there was no need for the Yates substitution. If he didn't panic, he could have put Dominguez into that Yates position. So overall, tactically, you could tell he was panicking and was worried. We got a point out of a game we should have got 3 points out of. He has to hold some smoke for it. Palace haven't won in 13 games or whatever it is. Palace would have been level on points with us. My biggest criticism of him today is that we didn't get to 2-0 up. That's the thing, and his substitutions. But I can't blame him for the result. I have to blame Nico Williams for the result. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. You guys are gone 5.5. I can't remember one game where Dyche has made substitutions I actually like. Maybe Wrexham, bro. Maybe Wrexham. We are playing horrendous. Glasner looks clueless. You guys were shocking, bro. You were shocking. Can't blame Dyche for Williams being daft. I didn't blame Dyche for Williams, did I? I blamed Williams for Williams. I don't know, man. I just think this is what we're gonna get. Hopefully just until the end of the season, and then Marco Silva can come in. Okay, let's do man of the match. There are a few candidates, if we're being positive, for man of the match. Who do you guys want? I'll let you guys decide. I'll let you guys decide. Oh, God, I'm tired. I think Einar needs a shout in there. Gibbs White. And... yeah, I'd say Sangare. Maybe... Anderson. Let's go Milenkovic. All right, get your votes in for man of the match. Make sure you've hit the like button as well. How are we doing on the likes, chat? Let's have a quick. We're on 215 likes, so over 700 in here. Oh yeah, Sangare. I've only got room for 4, so that's not a bad list to pick from. So get your votes in for man of the match. We'll be doing Grumpy Old Reds tomorrow. And then there'll be a match reaction video out tomorrow as well for you. So plenty to keep you entertained. All right, let's see who you vote. Why can't I see the vote? Oh, there it is. All right, 10 more seconds. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed. No Gun on man of the match. Gun didn't have to do anything, bro. Let's be honest. He didn't have to do anything. Your man of the match with 69% of the vote, 68% of the vote goes to Morgan Gibbs White with the goal and a pretty solid performance overall. I don't think that's a bad shout at all. Alrighty, and that brings us to the end. Now we need to focus on what Spurs are doing against Man City. Hopefully Man City can give them an absolute good slapping. That's what I'd love to see right now. So I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. I'm going to send you over to expressions. Let him know in the chat. FFTV raid in the chat. Hopefully Spurs will be losing. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like. Make sure you're subscribed. Come on, you Reds.